to a new episode of Mr. Positive Live for March 29th, 2021. Tonight on Mr. Positive Live Daily, we're talking about saving rivers, streams, lakes, and even oceans. We all know how important our waters are across the United States, and taking care of them instead of dumping waste and tons of pollution into our lakes, rivers, and streams. So tonight on this special edition of Mr. Positive Live, what can we do to save our rivers and streams and any waters that you may boat in or go fishing in? We all know that some of the videos that we've done here on Mr. Positive Live and on Citizens Magnet Fishing, you've seen us pull bikes out of the rivers, scooters. I've heard of them pulling out vacuum cleaners and everything from lawnmowers to, safes. And that metal is not good for the rivers. Now, in some areas we can't help it, and it's impossible for everyone to go magnet fishing and pull out, crap out of the water. But we have to do the best we can as a society to save our open waters for generations to come. Again, last week we went down to Westbrook and did some video of Colt's buddies pulling out stuff out of the rivers, which was awesome to see. Saving the waters is important here in the United States. And coming up on Saturday, it's really important that we all get out and save the rivers. And I'm asking anyone who's watching this video and who will watch this video over the next few days to get out and join us. Don't just do it in support of magnet fishing, but do it in support for our local rivers, streams, oceans, and lakes, because it's important. I mean, like I said, if you go back and watch the video, we pulled out at least 8 bikes, scooters, you name it. And that's all coming out of the rivers. And it's actually polluting the waters and making it nasty. Now, way back in the 70s and 80s here in Lewiston, the Lewiston Auburn area, we have a river called the Androscoggin. And it used to be polluted. And I've heard from a lot of people that it used to look like root beer. No joke. People would drive across the bridges around here in the shoe mill towns of Lewiston and Auburn, and the river was polluted due to mills dumping waste into it. And as a society, we don't want to see that happen. So it's really important that we do what we can to clean out our rivers, lakes, streams, wherever it is, oceans. It's really important that we do that. And coming up on Saturday, we want to see people out there in support of magnet fishing, cleaning out rivers and streams, because it really is important to see that happen. With climate change and everything that's happening right now, this is one of the big things we can have happen here in the United States and across Maine, or wherever you're watching this. If you're in another country, great. Do the same thing, because it's important for future generations to take care of our open waters and streams. Now, what are 10 different ways we can save the oceans, rivers, streams, and lakes? Starting off with rivers. Number one, the best thing you can do is support your local magnet fishing. You support your local organization that goes out and cleans not just rivers, but the outdoors as well. Okay? Number one, don't dump waste. Don't litter. Throwing things back into the rivers only pollutes it more. Think about the wildlife that's inside those rivers, like fish. That's where they live. That's their habitat. Number two, if you do see anything in the river, pick it up. Especially if it's not a high river, if it's a small little stream. You see a soda bottle, someone throwing a soda bottle, tell that person, stop doing that. For future generations, we were down there actually on Saturday in Westbrook, and I actually saw someone throw a wrapper in there. And I was upset when I saw a person, literally a little kid, throwing a wrapper into the river in Westbrook. Okay? Now, this is not someone we knew or was down there magnet fishing. It was just someone walking by, a bunch of kids. They threw a wrapper in there, didn't care less. That's one of those things that really, irritates a lot of people, especially magnet fishing groups. The point is they're trying to clean the waters out, not see people dump it back in. So it's one of those things where, as a society, we have to start looking at cleaning out our waters more and more now than ever before. Getting back into that whole situation though, again, number 2, you see anybody throwing anything into the waters, clean it out. Let those people know, do not do that. Give them a little warning. Number 3, again, you ever have the idea of actually going out and wanting to help clean out the rivers, streams, lakes, and oceans? Do so. Because every year, hundreds and thousands of sea species in the oceans, fish, seals, are always dying from people throwing stuff and waste into the oceans and lakes. Again, sometimes you get an oil spill, and that kills the wildlife as well. That's why it's really important when we're dumping oil into the ocean or gas into the ocean that we keep our oceans clean, lakes and rivers clean as well, especially the oceans. We have tons of species in the ocean, and we want those sharks and fish and whatever is out there for generations to come. It's really important that we take care of our oceans now and not wait 10, 15, 20, 30 years when it could get a lot worse. Moving on to number 4 now, on keeping our oceans, lakes, waters safe, is, watching out on how much, gases we put in our boats. Especially, everyone likes to use gas boats. Make sure that you don't have a gas leak in your boat. Making sure that you get that checked out before taking your boat out on the water. Because sometimes that can lead to situations where it leaks into the waters and stuff like that. So it's really important that we take time. If you own a boat and you go fishing in a boat, make sure that there's no leak in your, into your motor and stuff like that, or gas tank. Okay. Again, it's one of those things we want to keep our oceans safe from future problems. Okay. Moving on up to number 5. Again, take some time. Do your research on your local rivers and streams. See what's been dumped in there over the years. Every river has a history on it for hundreds of years, I should say, hundreds of years. And it's always good to do some research in the local rivers you have in your state, country. Do some research. See if it was polluted at one point in time. I know a lot of the rivers here in Maine are known for being on, especially the Androscoggin River, which is known for being polluted for a long time. Now, our counties and state has done a pretty good job of trying to clean that up over the last few years, so that's good. Over the last 20 years, I should say. So it depends on where you live and who takes care of your waters and streams in your town. Moving on to number 6. Again, as I said, similar with lakes and streams, if you live near a lake or a pond, do the research on the pond as well. If there's ever been any boats that have sunk there, canoes, anything like that. It's good to clean the scrap metals out of these waters to clean it out for future generations to come. Okay. Think about the ducks and loons here in Maine that use those ponds, lakes, and rivers for breeding grounds, for their babies and stuff like that. That's why it's really important to not, do your research first, but always think about the wildlife that have to live there for years to come and generations to come. Moving on up to number 7. Again, it all comes back to the oceans as well. Same with rivers, lakes. Do your research on the lakes as well. And we're going to move on to number 8 again. Kind of similar. Look for groups on Facebook, kind of like magnet fishing groups that, can go out and actually clean the rivers out. Let those magnet fishing groups know, hey, I know that the Kennebec needs some cleaning in certain areas. Those kinds of things can help clean out certain parts of the river. Now, we can't all do that without your help, people out there that watch. Again, that's why I say it's important to do your research before, letting a magnet fishing group know. Again, what they do is hard work, and it's can be time staking, but it's good work as well. Okay, and it can be fun, but at the same time, it can be exhausting as well. Okay, again, you can check out the magnet fishing video that we did with Colt last week on Mr. Positive Live and on Citizens Magnet Fishing on YouTube and on Facebook at Mr. Positive Live, and on Citizens Magnet Fishing on Facebook as well. Okay, number 9, this coming Saturday we will be down in Westbrook. If you want any information on the location where we're going to be in Westbrook, talk to Colt Bush on Citizens Magnet Fishing on Facebook, or send him a message directly at Colt Bush on Facebook. Or you can send me a message as well on where the location is going to be. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what time we'll be down there. I'm guessing between 9 and noon. We'll find out. We'll let you know here on Mr. Positive Live. Okay, moving into number 10 now on keeping your waters clean. Okay. You know, a lot of people love to go swimming in these waters as well. That's another situation where a lot of people love to go swimming and love to go boating. And you know, like here in Auburn, we have Lake Auburn, and people aren't allowed to swim in Lake Auburn due to it being the city's drinking water. Okay, so it's really one of those situations where people know this, they understand this, and you know, it's why we try to keep our lakes clean. From, you know, a lot of boats being on it and people spilling oil in there and gas and just littering. I've seen people throw food into the rivers, oceans, lakes, especially here at Lake Auburn. I've seen people throw soda bottles in there, plastic. I've seen people throw, you get those 12 packs of cans of soda. I've seen people throw that plastic in there, and it gets caught. When fish or ducks, that can get caught around a duck's neck. Think about those situations and keep our rivers, lakes, streams clean. For Mr. Positive Live, I'm Mr. Positive. Check out our videos on Mr. Positive Live on Facebook and YouTube, and on Citizens Magnet Fishing on YouTube. For Mr. Positive Live, have a great night, and we'll see you on Saturday.